Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Cat Talk Show on IntellectualRadio.com. I am your host, Kat, and today I am here with my co-host, Wanda B,
Hey, hey.
and a special guest host.
Hey.
We have Scott Craig Smith. Scott Craig Smith is a proud HBCU alumni of University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff and a current president of the Chicago HBCU Alumni Alliance.
Hey.
Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon.
All right. First, before we get into what we do, we're going to do the Dear Cat letter. Introduce yourself a little bit and just tell us, a little bit about you.
Hey, no problem. Again, my name is Scott Craig Smith. Some people call me Scott. Some people call me Craig, depending upon our relationship.
Okay.
I am a 1997 graduate of one of the greatest HBCUs known to man by the name of the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, the Golden Lions.
Okay.
We call her Dear Mother. I am also currently the president of the Chicago HBCU Alumni Alliance. In a nutshell, what the HBCU Alliance is a collective of all the alumni associations under one umbrella with the common cause of community involvement, educational empowerment, and scholarship. We've been in fruition here in Chicago since September 2005. However, this is a national endeavor that started in Atlanta. We have chapters in Atlanta, Chicago, Miami, DC. We're working on a couple in St. Louis, Louisville, and LA, I think it is now. So this is kind of it in a nutshell. I'm actually here today to kind of talk about some things related to HBCUs, an initiative, an event that we have coming up August 12th, and just hang out with you guys, have some fun on the Cat Show today.
Shout out to HBCUs. My daughter goes to HBCU Alabama A&M.
Hey, swag baby,
She insisted upon it. I have a niece, and she's going to Prairie View.
Swag baby,
Texas.
swag baby.
We just did a little trunk party the whole night. So they were
great.
My girls. They were dead set on going to the HBCU.
Hey, that's great.
I unfortunately didn't attend, so I didn't. I didn't quite understand. And they got me into it, and I get it now.
Hey, that's what's up.
So here on Cat Talk Show, IntellectualRadio.com, we do a Dear Cat letter. People write me in, or we have conversations and we talk. And so this Dear Cat letter actually came from my niece's trunk party that we just recently around. And every time I get around people now, they think they're supposed to, give me stuff, and I love it. Please keep doing it.
Comment.
Yeah,
they have
good.
questions, comments. They writing stuff down like, put this on your show, or let me tell you about that. So here we go.
That's a good thing.
It is.
Yeah,
it's a blessing. Dear Cat, I teach high school in a predominantly Black neighborhood. The children that I teach come from low-income neighborhoods. I noticed that some of the things that I introduce to them, such as foreign countries and other cultures, they have never heard of before, and oftentimes not interested. I grew up in a Black middle-class neighborhood, graduated high school, and went directly to college. It wasn't a choice or question. However, the children I work with don't think twice about college, what college they're going to, or if they're going at all. Efforts at the school with guidance counselors encouraging children to go to college, both of them are deterred by the cost attached. One of my students just told me in summer school, you don't have to go to college to be rich. I told him that I agree, but it is important to be educated. My middle-class upbringing taught me that education equals success. Why is it that minorities don't seem to believe that? Some of my college friends came from poor communities and went to college and still have expressed that they don't have much faith in having a degree. What should I tell my students of color when trying to encourage them to go to college? Or should I stop trying to encourage them altogether?
Wow. Let's go.
What do you think, Scott Craig Smith?
Well, you know what? It took me a little while also to realize in many cases that college is not for everyone. In some cases, there are trades, there's the military, there's other things that people can do to be successful, entrepreneurship, all different things. However, I also have to come to the realization that once you get a college degree, they can't take that from you. They can take your trade from you. I have not to put this person out on blast, I have a friend of mine who cuts hair. He hurt himself, his wrist, broke both of them.
Wow.
That's his trade. That's taken away from him. But his fallback is he has a college degree. So now he's going to more than likely have to maybe look into some corporate employment or nonprofit employment. But the thing that he loves to do is cut hair, and he may not be able to do that at the level that he once did. So that's the concerning part with that. Also with that, the college costs really, and I'm going to advocate for my HBCUs to the end of time.
Please do, because I pay a HBCU tuition. So let me know something.
So really, many of our HBCUs right now are offering something called in-state tuition waivers or out-of-state tuition waivers or out-of-state tuition assistance. I know the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, we have a program by the name of Neighbors of Arkansas. And it's really set up for all of the states that may be surrounding Arkansas, and giving those students the opportunity to have out-of-state tuition breaks. Southern University offers out-of-state tuition breaks. So, I mean, there's opportunity there, but if no one is talking to you about it, no one's educating you on it from not only your high school counselors, but even in your home. And we have to realize sometime where we have certain kids that just don't have that upbringing to have those conversations with their children. So it's going to take us as a village in many cases to educate our kids and get them moving. This level, HBCU or PWI, whatever, it doesn't matter as long as they're doing something.
Right. If you're just tuning in to the Cat Talk Show on IntellectualRadio.com, talking about the faith that our people of color seem to be losing in education, and how are we pushing our children to go to college. And I'm going to share a small story of my own. My daughter is just finished her freshman year at Alabama A&M. So prior to that, in her senior year, my husband and I attended a financial aid meeting at her high school. So the meeting was supposed to be to educate the parents on funding, scholarships, financial aid, how to fill the FAFSA out.
Right.
We went to the meeting and there was us and 2 other people there. And then there was a woman that walked in later. Now we're talking about a graduating class of probably about 75 to 80 kids, and there were 5 parents there. So the interesting thing is when they did the PowerPoint and they broke everything down to us, there was the woman that came in late, and she came and she sat down and they did the overview of everything you need, like the cost. So they broke down the housing costs, and they said, you're going to need a security deposit to secure the housing. Once they're accepted and you do everything, that's the first step that you have to do. They said that'll be between $250 and $400 by roughly $400. That lady that was sitting at the end of the table with us said, oh, well, he ain't going to college.
Oh.
And she was done.
Because of that deposit?
That deposit cost. And then they start further talking about how much money they may need for just miscellaneous expenses every month. And that parent, she totally tuned out. So my frustration with the school, and I went through this frustration the whole school year, is that the school constantly kept telling my daughter to go to school in state because out-of-state tuition was high. They encouraged my child to go to junior college, my child with straight A's. I had to literally go and tell the guidance counselor, don't dare limit my child to what she can do. If I gotta get 10 jobs, she's going to the school she wants to go to.
Right.
But this is what's happening in the school systems.
Right.
They're encouraging the kids, even if the kid has in their mind, I'm doing this. Well, kind of like the Malcolm X movie, Negroes can't be lawyers. You're good with your hands. Why don't you get a trade? And that's what's happening. So it would be discouraging to a child, to a young teenager, especially a minority, to think, hey, well, I guess I might as well go to my local junior college. That's what's best for me.
There seems like there's 2 different things in play here. One, the lack of encouragement at home.
Right.
And then when you get to school, and that this woman or person, I don't know if it's a woman, would say, or should I stop trying to encourage them altogether? Why would you have that thought at all? Why would I think I need to stop? That worries me. I mean, I feel as an educator, it's her job to stay encouraged, to encourage even the ones who don't see it. We're supposed to have the insight for our children, for the youth. We're supposed to keep pushing them and encouraging them, not pull them down and say, okay, should I just stop encouraging you because you're not getting it at home and you don't see it for yourself? Encourage them where you see they should be or where you feel their gifts. If your daughter was the one coming saying, I want to go to this, let's see how I can get you there. Yeah. Let's see, how do I get you where you want to be? Not, should you be in the junior college? Should you not go at all? Oh, you don't see yourself going to college? Well, I don't either. That has to stop.
Yeah. So for me, there's a couple things that's in play with that also. I look at a lot of things related to culture. When we create certain cultures within schools, within our own communities, they're perpetrated and taken to higher levels. Many of our schools, many of our teachers are not prepared properly to even put their hands on our children in many cases. Now, that's not a slight, that's not a dig at teachers, educators at all. I love teachers and educators. I mean, it got us here to this point. However, for me, I think that many of them are not educated at the level that they should be to really lead our children sometimes. Now, culturally also for us, there's a lot of things that's missing. We have a lot of men who are missing in households or even just in their children's lives, because you don't necessarily have to always be in that house to rear your child. I have two sons of my own, and I do my very best and lose all kind of sleep trying to make sure that those two gentlemen are taken care of. I have a kid now, he'll be 18 in a week. Chris Smith, what's up if you listening?
Happy birthday.
Just graduated from high school, and he has his own mind. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. It got to a point for me where, as a parent and an educator and a nonprofit person, where I had to do something called I just wipe my hands. This world is going to be able to teach you a lot more than dad ever could. So I got to let him go. Little one is 8. He don't care. He just kind of want to hang out, play baseball, do stuff like that. But again, back on a serious note, culture. People would prefer to see a ball bouncing as opposed to a book read. Another issue that we have within our schools, because they will push a young man or a young lady through that can play a sport, and they'll send them away and encourage them. But a kid who has, like your daughter, excellent student, they're going to do everything in their power to keep them under their thumb, to say that, no, I got this kid to stay in state. I got this kid to do that. But it's funny to me when I meet with kids and we talk about options for HBCUs in terms of finances, they never knew that you can go to a University of Arkansas Pine Bluff for $21,000 a year.
I didn't know that either. So we need to talk.
What's happening? But even with that, Alabama State
switching schools.
But really, most HBCUs are affordable in price, but you still get an excellent education. You also get that personal touch. Many kids need that classroom ratio of 1 to 17, 1 to 18. They need to be around individuals that sometimes relate to them and look like them. And they're able to have conversations and deal with things together. And it becomes a family. Right now, again, the Alliance, we're families. A lot of us went to different HBCUs, but when it's time for us to come together, we come together. We hang out, we kick it. I mean, it's just like a family atmosphere. And that's what HBCUs build up, because again, many years ago, when people hate to bring up history, the African-American student wasn't allowed to go to your U of I's. They wasn't allowed to go to your Harvards. And at that point, that's why HBCUs were created. And HBCUs really pushed out the best athletes and many of the top scholars. But now many within our culture and community forget those things. And now it becomes a stake of economics.
Right.
The economic piece of no butts in the seat at a HBCU is an issue where the doors may close. We have several HBCUs that have closed because there's no butts in the seats. Not to mention, let's talk about the truthfulness of this also. Really, one of the largest entities in colleges that bring in economics is sports. Our top athletes now go to PWIs and continue to make those universities affluent in many cases, whereas they won't even look at an HBCU. But if you're good, the NBA will find you. The NFL will find you. Major League Baseball will find you. Hockey, not so much. But I'm just saying.
You're right.
Really.
You're right.
So again, culturally, it's about loving and taking care of our own and understanding that there are options that look like yourself that can get you through this world, honestly. And you don't have to worry about a lot of things that go on campus. That's a quick dig. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so just in case you're just tuning in, this is Cat Talk, IntellectualRadio.com, and we're talking about primarily people of color losing faith in higher education.
Right.
I think that we do need to look at the fact that there are people that are not going to go to college.
Right.
They're going to do other stuff.
That's right.
We need those people.
That's right.
You know, I love my bus drivers.
That's right.
I love the people that take my order at the restaurant.
That's
I need
right.
all of y'all.
That's
So,
right.
you know, everybody has their role in things that they do. But at the same time, there are people that can benefit from education. Like you said, education is the one thing you cannot take away from me.
That's
I don't
right. care
care what you do. You can take my hands off, but you cannot take what I know
right.
away from me. So in saying that, how do we get our children? I work in education. I work with high school students. And so we do have discussions about college. And a lot of them are like, oh, okay, college, they relate college to partying and kicking it. And they relate the HBCUs to hanging out and partying. And they party at every school.
They party at every school.
And that's funny because the top 5 party schools are not HBCUs.
I know that.
Educate yourselves, people.
Pete, please.
Yeah.
What winds up happening is the kids go to school for the wrong reason.
Right.
And they're encouraged to go to school for reasons like getting a refund check and kicking it and partying and
right.
not really, you know, like they're going just to be going because that's the next level thing to do.
Right.
So I think that, I mean, as an adult, as a parent and an educator, it is interesting to sit back and think, why would I encourage my child that does have some knowledge about herself to educate herself more? What's wrong with her just getting a job and working that one job, and hopefully she'll, you know, progress that way, because you know that happens. What can I give them right now? If I'm offering you a rap contract, I can offer you big boats and houses and chains and girls
right.
and parties 24/7. We have young people that I know I work with every day that say, so, okay, I go to school. Then what? Where's, you know, I mean, I'm looking at, you know, my Lil Waynes and my Drakes and all of them. And please, I mean, I don't hear them talk about no college. You know, the future go to college. and they want the instant gratification.
And part of that is understandable, though. Do you really know any educator that's balling? I mean, really, that's how messed up our system is, though, that the basketball player gets paid, the rapper gets paid, and the teacher is underpaid, overworked.
And that's the only thing right now, which is very interesting, is sports. Sports does encourage our kids to go to school. My sons right now, 12, 14, and they can tell you, like the back of their hand, oh, I want to go to so-and-so university and this and that and this, because they play sports. And so they know those top schools that have those sports, and that is an encouragement. The thing is, it's a huge letdown and disappointment, because guess what? You want to go to school to play ball and be in the NBA, and so do 50 million other boys that look
right.
just like you.
That's right.
So how are we teaching our kids? We are sending them off. Now you have a college education, or people getting drafted first year out of school. You a senior in college, and you like, what's the point? What am I gonna do now? And you gotta go back home after you graduate, and you have to apply for a real job.
That's right.
Now you have to live as a Black man with the disappointment of what didn't happen for you, because you were set up from the get-go. You don't even pay attention to the fact that you got a free education.
That's right. You know what? Relevancy is another key term. How much longer will future be relevant? Your criminal justice degree will always be relevant. Your marketing degree will always be relevant. LeBron James is a freak of nature, but if he blows his knee out, he's done. He won't be that same LeBron James. He's set up financially because of the years he's put into the league. But just think about many of those who didn't have that same financial success, who came out after 1 year, and now they're working at Popeyes. I mean, I saw a guy in Popeyes the other day. He was 6'10". Dude, you had to play ball somewhere. Yeah, you know, I went to this place and I went to that place, and, you know, things just didn't work out. Well, did you get your degree? No. You thinking about going back? No, I'm going to just kind of work here. And I told him, hey, don't be mad at me, my brother, but I'm talking to you from a place of love. You limiting yourself. You can still go back to school. You 26, so what? You can still go to school. I mean, I've gotten people into HBCUs that were 30 years old and tried to stay in the dorm, right? Because they like, yo, I need a change. You know, I need something different. So I think relevancy. And then also with that, people think that HBCUs are no longer relevant. Why not? Why not? It's ours.
Yeah.
It's ours.
Probably
So as long
now
as it's
more than
ours, it's
ever,
relevant.
actually.
Pay
Now,
attention.
Yeah.
All they got to do is pay attention. I tell you, pay attention.
There was an era in the 90s when HBCUs were everything.
It's called the different
Yeah.
world
the different
era.
world era,
That's
the
right.
school
We were proud.
days
School
era.
days.
We were proud.
That's right.
You know, we had a little bit more,
Yeah.
you know,
And during that
love.
time, enrollment at HBCUs,
Self-love.
yeah, enrollment at HBCUs during the 90s just went through the roof, like really. But then there came changes, and images began to be placed on television and the music, and people don't want to be honest and say that those things play a part, but they do play a part because our kids are visual creatures. They pay attention to images.
Mm-hmm.
And if all they seeing on TV is Atlanta Housewives and Love and Hip Hop and all these different shows that are just really not showing good images of African Americans, then that's what they're gonna want to do. They think it's cool because it's TV, you know?
Would you agree that a lot of the media, social media, TV, those shows you just spoke of, they show you what you need to have to be successful, but they don't show you the way to get it? The songs tell you that you have to have Gucci, Prada, Louis. You need to have your hair to here, your chest to here, your butt to there. You need to act and talk this way and that way. And the success of having all of these things that make you of value. This is what makes you valuable to the world. This is what gives you who you are. And they don't tell you how to get it.
So from a musical standpoint, they don't let you know that the people who really making all the money are the producers, the people who are writing. Those individuals are the ones who walking away with $250,000 a song or more, and that money's good. Whereas you have an artist who makes, is it less than 7% on the dollar?
on the dollar of his own song, his voice.
So he's already in the hole because he owed the company back for styling and PR and touring, and so you're absolutely correct. They don't let them know the behind the scenes, but there's a system in place for them not to know those things.
Right.
They don't want them to be overly educated.
Right. And I think with that becomes education. And it's funny in the educational system, especially when you go into middle school, high schools, they teach you your basics, your reading, your math, those extra things that I think even I learned when I was in school, and I graduated from high school in 1996. They taught us those extra things like how to write a check and how to consumer education class. And or work even work study, media arts classes we had that showed you the behind the scenes, because what you don't know is when you turn your TV on and look, the person that's making the most money is the one that's educated, the person that put that show together, produced it, wrote it.
That's right.
Those are the ones that make the money. It's not that person that you see sitting front and center. And when in school they used to teach you that. They used to give you that knowledge so that you have something to choose from.
One of the biggest problems, I think, the underlining of all of this and why it is right now is starting from the homes. And the reason why this teacher or educator who wrote this letter, the thought process of the child she's dealing with, where did this start and stop?
I would love to know the school she's at. That would tell the tale a lot also. I have some friends who work in some schools, and there's no parental support. Like you talked about the financial aid workshop. And you have 75, 80 kids that's graduating, but you only have 5 parents there. And of the 5, one of them already said, "Nah, we're not doing that."
Because of the $400, which her weave may have cost more than $400. The $400 fee. And not to knock weaves, not at all, but they cost a lot of money. I'm not knocking them out, but I know they cost $400 and $500. So if faced with the thing of coming up with the money for my child's down payment for college and giving up my weave for 2 months, what would be the choice? Why would you say no college for you and sit back?
Well, you have to look at the value of
college knowledge,
instant gratification today. And I can't see what you might become later.
That big picture.
If you're just tuning in, this is the Cat Talk Show on IntellectualRadio.com. And I'm sitting here with Scott Craig Smith.
There you go. Give me all that.
Or you can call him Scott,
depending on how you know him.
That's right. He is the head. I know I'm saying this wrong. He's the president. He's still a head. He's the man. He's the man. He's the man of the HBCU Alumni Alliance.
Get all the words in.
Get them all. Let me get myself together. So I want to talk about your event you have coming up.
Cool.
That's important.
Yes, it is.
We'll be there.
Lovely.
Represent.
We'll be there representing. I think
Lovely.
it's important. I'm gonna go ahead and let you have this and let you tell me exactly what you're doing.
So honestly, the event that we're having Friday, August 12th at 7 p.m. at Trinity United Church, 400 West 95th Street. That's 95th and Eggleston on the south side. Where the Reverend Otis Moss, who's a proud HBCU alumnus from Morehouse, is pastor. We came to him with an idea about holding a public forum as related to all the killings that's going on, not just in our very own community, but again, the things that's going on with the police shootings and all these different things. So what we decided to do, we're going to have a panel discussion. We're going to have a moderator. We're hoping to really get really good input and feedback on this day. The event is really placed because there's no public forums out here to where our people can come and just kind of talk about some solutions, because we know the issues. The issues are before us every day.
Flooded,
right? What's some solutions? Not saying that those solutions can take place immediately. Not saying that it's going to happen overnight, because nothing happens in a vacuum that way. However, we need to start having tangible dialogue, and not dialogue from individuals who may just only show their faces when things happen.
With agendas.
With agendas. Chicago HBCU Alumni Alliance only agenda is the upliftment of our community, again, through community involvement, educational empowerment, and scholarship. Honestly, that's all we're about. We're out there behind the lines. We're not standing in front of the cameras, none of those things. On this day, our moderator is Miss Kenya Simone from 106.3. She'll be navigating many of the questions, also posing a lot of the answers as well too. Some of our panelists, and let me put my glasses on, because I'm 43 now, and these eyes just don't really work like they once did, right? So we have Mrs. Donnie Smith, CEO and Executive Director from Donda's House.
Okay.
You guys not familiar with Donda's House? Donda's House is a great performing arts and community driven organization, really based off of Kanye West's mother's vision. Mr. Michael Johnson, who's from the Armor of God Ministries. Mr. Johnson is really strong in a lot of community involvement throughout the city. Also, Mr. Maximilian Boykin, young dynamic gentleman from Black Youth Project 100. Kevin Tate, Chicago Police Department officer. Miss Africa Porter. She does a lot of community work in the area. But we also have the honor of having Miss Cleo Pendleton, the mother of Idea Pendleton.
Okay.
She's going to come on and kind of talk about different things, be part of the panel. But also we have some additional panelists that'll be there as well too. We're waiting for some confirmation from a couple people. So we'll reveal the entire panel by Wednesday of this week.
Beautiful.
It's something that we're really passionate about from the Alliance standpoint. It's something that's needed. And we really need to just kind of really come together. Let's talk solutions. Be respectful of each other's opinions. Be respectful of the endeavor and the initiative that we have coming about. And really, it's just time for us all to galvanize, come together and realize that it's going to take us as a village to kind of change some of these things and stop wanting President Obama to be the president of just African Americans. Be mad at me if you like, and it's okay.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people had a false sense of what he was going to do when he came into office. He's the president of the entire United States, y'all.
And he's not the savior.
He's not God.
He's not Jesus. He's not.
He's not. He's human.
And he's not a magician.
And he's a politician at the end of the day. Let's talk real talk. He's a politician at the end of the day. He still has to get political initiatives in place. It's just what it is.
So let me ask you this question, or make the statement.
Sure.
A lot of times we say, let's do something. We say, we talking a lot, and we see, like I said, we see this flooded things that are happening. It's to the point now where I'm having a hard time going through my timeline.
Yeah. And
people send me so much stuff. I almost, I love you. Please keep sending it. But some stuff, I just can't sit and I can't watch. I just watched the baby the other day that they killed him and then they handcuffed him while he was dead. And those things people don't realize when they take that stuff in, it's really giving us PTSD. It becomes traumatic for us. Yeah. So what happens is as we soak this stuff in every day, news, social media, constantly on the radio, talking amongst with each other, we are walking around now with a chip on our shoulder. Mm-hmm. Chip here, paranoia here.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not a black man, but I'm scared if the police roll up on me because right now anybody can get it.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like it doesn't matter. And so when I'm taking in those things, I'm getting this feeling and I'm living it every single day. So my question is, how do you get somebody that's given up? Because there are people that are like, hey, it's just the way the world is.
I'm moving.
Either I'm moving, and that's still not going to make a huge difference. Because guess what?
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
You know what the only difference is? It's everywhere and it's always been around. The only difference is now it's televised.
It's televised. And people don't realize that it being televised.
It's been this way.
The actual crimes being overly televised in graphic nature.
Yeah.
It messes with your mental and people don't even realize that. It gives me a thought process. I can't even walk into a white McDonald's. If that lady forgets to give me my sugar, she a racist. Automatically.
Give me two of them next time.
You don't want to give me okay. If the man at the local corner store, if he happened to look at me and ask me what I need help with, you think I'm gonna steal somebody else's store? I got a chip on my shoulder now. I'm mad at all police. I'm suspect of all races that are not my own, and I'm scared of my own too. Cause hey, I'm walking around with the trauma on me that I live in a war zone.
Yeah. I was going to say that there's a thing called dual accountability. You have your victim and you have your perpetrator. Both parties are accountable. I think in many cases we lose sight and we pick sides as opposed to talking about it all. In many cases, a lot of things that go on can be avoided. We just need to start thinking beyond your chip on your shoulder and your emotions, because you can get checked out.
Amen.
In a heartbeat, right? So you got to start being smarter than just letting someone antagonize you to the point of where I'm going to snatch you out your car and I'm going to beat the brakes off you.
We used to teach our children
I got all you need. And I'm going to give you guys an example of how it happened to me. So I live in a suburb of Chicago that's, predominantly, Caucasian white. I went to the gym. It was about 10:30 at night. I come out of the gym, and on Sis Road, there's it's kind of like a 4-lane highway. I come out of the parking lot and I'm heading south, right? I had to come over 2 lanes just to get over to make the right turn. I see the police vehicle coming from afar. He's coming from the south, but I'm heading south. So we're coming toward one another. I make the right-hand turn and I see him come behind me. Instantly, I'm like, okay. From the gym to my garage is maybe 1.5 miles. This gentleman followed me all the way to my house. Watch me put my car, no lights. Watch me put my car in the garage, grab my gym bag, and as I'm walking up to my condo, he rolls his window down and says, "Hey, what made you go over 2 lanes of traffic to make your right?" And I looked at him. I said, "Well, I really had no make that turn or just go further to try to get home, but I still had my turn signal on." To him, I said, "Well, is that illegal, sir?" "Well, no, I was just wondering what your thinking was." Instantly, I'm like, he on nonsense. Yes. Instantly, I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna play this game with you though. "Well, sir, I figured if I did something illegal that you would have given me a ticket by now, honestly. And I saw that you followed me for about 1.5 miles. You watched me put my car in the garage and you watched me take about 6 steps before you decided to stop and roll your window down and say something to me." At that point, again, I stopped talking and let him talk and let him talk and let him talk. And when he's done talking, I said, "Well, sir, thank you for that advice. Have a good evening."
And that was a great thing.
And I walked in the house because he was looking for me to be an angry black man and go off. And "Why are you talking to me?" "Nah, you will never take my life, boy. Ever."
And you got to look at the bigger picture.
Yeah, I got sons to raise. I got a community to uplift. You never taking me out of this game for me not using my head and keeping my head on my shoulders like that.
And that's what we have to teach our sons and daughters, to look at the bigger picture.
Look at the bigger picture. Get rid of your pride and ego.
Absolutely.
And live to see tomorrow.
Or use your pride. That is pride. I have pride in my family.
But be smart with your pride.
Be smart with your pride. Your pride, you don't lose dignity. You don't lose pride by doing what you need to do to get home. And I think that was the message in the 60s, and that's kind of the message today.
Yeah. And it's not fair.
It's not fair. We shouldn't have to do that.
When I preach that message you just said, people argue. I shouldn't have to do that. He shouldn't have followed me. Hey, guess what? Racism is real. It lives right here where you live. It lives right there with you. It's just
televised now, y'all.
And it's not going away. Matter of fact, it's even more prevalent everywhere you turn.
It's even hard to have racism within our own race, though.
Yeah, that's what's hard now.
That's a hard pill to swallow in many cases, especially from an educational piece. Many of the counselors are African American, and they're not telling our kids about HBCU colleges, period. Yeah, like you just talked about.
Self-love.
Well, the thing is that a lot of, whether it be older Black Americans or teachers, educators, they kind of giving up. As an educator, I will say it's so hard to give up. I don't think you've understood until you have given a group of kids everything you got, and then they open their mouth and say something that you just want to either reach over and choke the life, or you want to say, you know what? I give my hands up. When I worked in juvenile corrections, we had kids, and I could talk, and it seemed like you breaking through, and they like, yeah, you're right, and then they leave and they come back the next day and they shot, or they got tattoos all in their face, and like, we just talked about having a job and being responsible and doing this and that, and they like, yeah, but you know what I'm saying, man, right now this is what I got, this all I got. They don't want me to have nothing, and all I got is this, and this all I know how to do, and I gotta eat, and I can't be walking around looking dusty and bummy. They're not looking at the bigger picture, but they don't know it.
Yeah. They don't know. We have someone from Facebook, Daniel, who said, teach them both sides of the coin, the importance of education and the importance of educating self on things that they want to learn or partake in. There are many different facets to success.
True.
Yeah, I would agree. And like you said, you have the dual accountability. Mm-hmm. You have to teach that. One thing that we shy away from for real is being accountable. I can have a conversation with a woman about her weave, and this has been real touchy subject all week.
Go with weave again.
Oh, Lord Jesus. Talk about this weave. Man, they get so sensitive about it. And the first thing, white women do it. They've been doing it for years. Not a good. That doesn't make a difference. You know, well, black killing black. White people kill black white people. So what? That's not a good answer.
No, it's not.
Be accountable for what you're doing right there in your home and what you take out in the world and spread.
What I hope is that on Facebook, for me and my friends on Facebook, as I scroll, a lot of times they always have an opinions on what needs to be done, what should be done, strong opinions enough to fight over it on Facebook. I hope they come on Friday.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Bring
and that's
all
the piece.
Those
let's get that information again.
That's the true piece of it. You and I been back and forth on Facebook.
Yes, we do.
There's a passion there, right? We have so many social media politicians, advocates, media dynamos. Mm-hmm. This is an opportunity for you to come out and truly have your voice heard respectfully, have your point heard respectfully, have it moderated, have it mediated, however you may want to use it. But again, this event, Friday, August 12th, 7 p.m., Trinity United Church, 400 West 95th Street. Simply stated is 95th and Eggleston, right on the corner. You can't miss it.
Right off the
train tracks, right? You might get caught if you're coming from the E-way, so be careful, right? Reverend Otis Moss is the pastor there, proud alumnus of Morehouse College. Really, this event is the start of a movement beyond just your marching, beyond just your fighting, beyond just hurt feelings. It may be some hurt feelings that come out of this event.
And that's okay. You got to break sometimes to build.
Sometimes there's things that are needed. Someone mentioned on Facebook today that they wanted to make sure that the event addressed the fiscal part of having initiatives that's saving the community. no one's going to volunteer countless hours for something that's just not moving forward. And I may have quoted it wrong, but I'm close. It's a very valuable question. Where are the resources coming from to put programming back in place to where our kids are feeling safe or they have something to do? Where are those resources going to come from?
It is honestly a good question, but I don't think that we should get hung up on it, because that's the reason why we don't have stuff. True. We need to create and govern ourselves.
Where's that money going to come from?
We have to figure it out. Even if it,
and that's the purpose of the event.
We have to figure it out.
And that's the purpose of the event.
Even if it means what do you have after you paid all your bills? Can you give me $5? And if I can get 50,000 people like you, because it's worth it, because it means something, because it matters to me to be able to come out of my house and go to the store without getting shot in the head. I'm going to give you $5 for that. I'm sorry, I am.
Or do you open up your gym? You own a building that you can say, have the youth. I'll donate my time and I'll stay in there with them.
You just led me into something too.
I mean, we will have to come together.
You're investing in your community, your well-being, and you and your safety. If you care that much to get on Facebook and rant and rave about how it's unsafe and what nobody doing, people need to raise their kids and do something about it. Give me your money.
So let's talk this really quick too. We have a lot of debate about what athletes, entertainers should do with their money. But at the end of the day, it's their money. Let's be clear with that.
It is, and people actually don't know what they do with their money.
You don't know, because it's not like they're putting out their financial statements. But just think of, in a perfect world, if our athletes, our entertainers, let me go back, our African-American entertainers, athletes, invested more in our communities to where we would feel as though it's our community. You go into stores and say, Roseland, none of those stores are owned by individuals of color, other cultures, and we allow them to come into our communities, take our dollars out of our community, and take them back to their communities to where they're living in an affluent nature. They're living in a bubble with our money, right? Really, it'd be great in a perfect world if we can get a couple of our Chicago Hoopers, football players that's from the Chi, because we are pushing product out athletically and entertainment-wise, left and right, to really adopt a block in a city and say, you know what, I'm going to open up my own sneaker store, but I'm still going to have fair prices, because a lot of times when we open up businesses, we outprice ourselves and you look up and the store is gone. Whereas you have the gentleman from a different race who may be offering buy one, get one for $1.
Yeah, he gets his product more wholesale because different place. We don't even realize when we go into these stores and places.
That's right.
We provide food for a family in Bangladesh somewhere. We are. I don't know how many families I take care of in China, Korea. I mean,
you almost made me take a jab at you. I was going to talking about weed, right?
I mean, but it's the truth. It's the truth. I mean, we even when I get my nails done, it's the honest to God truth.
Right.
I am helping feed their family when I need to help feed Shanae's family and her son that's running around here robbing people because he's hungry.
But I hear people also say in a black business, you get bad customer service. You get bad customer service on other businesses too, and you still go spend your money.
With them?
You still go give them your money.
I hate that argument.
So just because Shaniqua got an attitude today, you don't know what she's dealing with outside that cash register. She might be working 12-hour shifts just to give us her baby.
Yeah, but what we do, that means that we need to education.
Yeah, man, support your own, man. Everybody, you go into these businesses that's not owned by us, they treat us bad as well.
They do.
They try to cheat us. A guy tried to cheat me. Tried to make a copy of my credit card right in front of me after he swiped it and it was approved. And I'm like, dude, you really don't want me to get that ethnic in your tennis shoe store.
Oh,
really? It was crazy.
Well, we need to definitely make sure we educate. I appreciate you coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Make sure that you all come out Friday. I will be posting it consistently throughout the week. So all my bloggers, people that love to talk, people that's in my inbox with all their ideas and opinions, I definitely plan on seeing you Friday.
Hey, for sure. Come on out.
Thank you for joining in.
Oh, let me add this too. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Also on that event, we'll be also registering individuals to vote.
Oh,
so we have voting registrators there to get you signed up. Important election in November. You guys be alert, be smart, make a better choice, regardless of how you feel about both candidates. I'll pick the lesser of the two evils.
Yeah.
And not voting is voting.
Bring your IDs. Join in with us next week on Cat Talk on IntellectualRadio.com. Thank you.